Dwayne Haskins, the Washington quarterback, spotted Sunday night celebrating the loss to the Seattle Seahawks at a strip club with no masks or other personal protective equipment that would prevent him from getting COVID-19. And it all hit the fan yesterday. And it was still kind of vague and unclear. A couple of people reported the Washington football team was aware of it, Chris, and they were dealing with it. And then Dwayne Haskins apologized.
Yeah, right.
And it was a clear acceptance of responsibility, possibly not written by him, but nevertheless adopted by him on a Twitter account that he would eventually delete. He may have resurrected it by now. Who knows? But, look, this is an issue for the Washington football team because you have a guy who is blatantly violating the protocols, regardless of where he went. It could be a movie theater, a strip club, a nightclub, a restaurant, anywhere. If you're doing something that violates the agreed-to protocols between the NFL and the NFLPA about where you can and can't go and what you can and can't do, that's a problem because you're potentially bringing the virus to the building. And Washington's in first place in their division. This isn't a team that's out of it.
Out of it, right.
This is a team that's in it. And for the guy who's had an opportunity to resurrect his career lately by virtue of the Alex Smith injury, this is one of the ultimate unforced errors, Chris.
Ultimate. I mean, unforced errors and really like a lot of different ways too. That's where I just don't understand it. I mean, one, like you said, yeah, they're in the playoff race. Okay, that's great. All right, two, hey, obviously it's a pandemic. I mean, come on, what are we doing here? You know, to go into any club, bar, strip club, whatever, that type of environment is just incredibly careless, let alone against NFL protocols. Then, okay, let's take it a step further. There's the pandemic and all that stuff, right? I mean, just the look of being, okay, in the strip club Sunday after a loss. Listen, I'm with you. I mean, guys, do what you do. That's fine. That's fine. But that's still not the look that a franchise quarterback or a guy that wants to be a franchise quarterback should be trying to portray to the football team in Washington or any of the other teams in football that, you know, might want his services depending on what happens after this year or going into next year. We don't know where Dwayne Haskins is going to be. So that in itself is just disturbing. You know, when you become a franchise quarterback, as you know, I mean, hey, the guy, he wants to be that guy. Well, you know, then you have to kind of be that guy off the field. Not that you have to be perfect and a Boy Scout and do those type of things, but when you're out having a good time after a loss, and in a lot of ways you can pin that loss on you, then that's an issue. And then it also just speaks to the bigger picture issues of Dwayne Haskins and everything we've heard over the last 2 years about immaturity and all of that. So, yeah, like just annoyed. I'm annoyed by it.
I want to publicly apologize for my actions this past Sunday, he said on Twitter. I spoke with Coach Rivera yesterday and took full responsibility for putting the team at risk. It was irresponsible and immature of me, and I accept responsibility for my action. I also want to apologize for creating a distraction for my team during our playoff push. I will learn and grow from this and do what's best for the team moving forward. And I see three ingredients to this, Chris. Immaturity is one of them. Intelligence or lack thereof is the other. And then there's just that notion of good old-fashioned entitlement. It's not like it used to be in the NFL pre-2011 when the players taken to the very top of the draft had contracts that were so massive and cap hits so extreme that they became untouchable. That was one of the reasons why the veteran players were so quick to embrace a rookie wage scale that knocked down what these guys made, even though in a roundabout way it hurts the veterans because the higher the rookie salary, they parlay that into their second contract. It pulls the market up for everyone else, and they all potentially benefit. Now, they were content to just say, we're done with these guys who come in here, these punks who come in here, and no one can talk to them and no one can get through to them.
Right.
Because what are you going to do? Cut me? Go ahead. Cut me. I got $60 million guaranteed. I'll wreak havoc on your salary cap. Go ahead and cut me. So I even though that's not to the same extent now, there's a certain element of that with Dwayne Haskins. He's got a fully guaranteed contract for 4 years. So between intelligence or lack thereof, maturity or lack thereof, and entitlement, it's a stew, and it creates this mess. And just as Washington was giving him an opportunity and maybe building a trade market, now it all gets set back, and it's all on him. And it's a shame that he doesn't have the awareness to realize what just you always assume that the photos are going to come out.
You're being watched.
They're going
right.
to, yeah, you're everywhere you go. Big Brother is everywhere, and it's
everywhere.
all of us. It's not the government. It's all of us with these things. So I'm just stunned. And I know that he's young, and I know it's only his second year, but I'd like to think he would have picked something up, especially this year when they're being told over and over again where they can and can't go.
Well, right. And, you do get benched, and at one point you're not even dressing for football games. That should be a big, blinking signal to go, man, wait, something's not right here. I need to fix myself and the situation and everything that's involved. And then, even after that, when he was benched early in the year, there was some other, immature things that he did along the way that I know that have happened down there in Washington. So, this was a chance. Yes, he threw the interceptions in the game against the Seattle Seahawks. We talked about it Monday, though. There was a lot of good things he did. I actually liked the way he looked. I thought, wow, if he does have to start this week for Alex Smith, like, Washington has a chance. He's got a good feel for the game. He looked good. He made decent decisions throughout most of the game, other than that, second quarter interception. But this is just, reckless. Like, stupid. I don't know what else to say. And you're going to lose respect in the locker room. And this type of decision at this moment in December, playoff push, pandemic, strip club, after a loss, is like, if he becomes a free agent or anything like that, this moment is going to go to every other team's head right away. And they're going to go, wait, he did that? Do I really want that guy on my team? I mean, this Sunday, what he did is going to be the first thing anybody that thinks about signing him, they're going to think about that from all the aspects we've already kind of talked about.
Especially given the position he plays.
Yes.
It's easy to gloss over
Right.
if you're a corner or a defensive lineman, linebacker, running back, whatever. You are the guy who is the heart and soul of the team. You are the leader of the team. You're the guy that needs to be counted on to show up early, stay late, influence teammates to make good decisions. How do you influence anyone to make good decisions when you have made such a bad decision at such a critical time in a critical season between the playoff push and the pandemic, trying to hold it together? The NFL in so many ways is that car that is making its way to the finish line, and there's a wheel that's coming off and the radiator's busted and the tailpipe's dragging and sparks are going everywhere, but it's going to make it. And Dwayne Haskins is behind the wheel just going wherever he wants to go with it. And it's amazing because there are so many stories like that we know of and that we don't know of. I don't know how they've held this thing together, Chris, for as long as they have. And I think there's a certain amount of good old-fashioned dumb luck that has helped, because there are plenty of dumb guys who have done dumb things all year, counter to what the NFL is trying to do to keep the train on the track.
Yes, yes, you're right. But I think, in totality, it's been pretty good by the players and everybody. If they were out and about, and I know not everybody's a household, face and name and all of that, but I think anybody that's one of the top 10, 15 players on their roster, if they were out and about and in a bar and doing stuff like that, like, it would get out. So I just think we know for the most part what's gone on. And yes, this is a stupid instance by Dwayne Haskins, and we've seen a few other teams and players and all of that. But I think for the most part, I give the players credit for what they've done this year. I think from my friends I've talked to and coaches and just a few friends I know in the league, most locker rooms were all in on, hey, let's do the right thing. Let's get the hell out of the facility. Let's go home. Really try to do your best to limit, interactions with the outside world. And I do want to give them credit. I do.
And even then, when you consider how the pandemic continues to rage throughout the country, if I'd have known where it would stand today with the number of infections and deaths and the availability rate at ICUs and hospitals throughout the country, and most of us just kind of, maybe we're blind to it because we're at home all the time and we only have this prism of information, and we're selective about what we listen to, and we can only take so much of it. But if we had known how bad it was going to be, we never would have dreamed that football would have held it together. So it is impressive, a collective effort that is strong enough to overcome the periodic stupidity that we have seen.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.